What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are going to continue our coverage over New Thunderbolts, and we are going to pick up with the Purple Rain storyline. Now, with that being said, though, Purple Rain is basically all about the Purple Man. Because remember, over the last couple of videos we have done over the New Thunderbolts, Purple Man has been basically plotting something big to do against the Thunderbolts, but we have no idea what is his master plan. Now, with that being said, though, we actually do pick up where our last video left off at, because remember, at the end of our last video, the Purple Man was trying to kidnap Songbird. Because remember, when it comes to the Purple Man, he does have the ability to basically control people's minds, to make them do anything he wants them to do, or what he wants them to do. And so with that being said, at the end of our last video, he was trying to use his powers on Songbird to hopefully kidnap her. Now, of course, she was saved by the new version of Swordsman. The reason why I say the new version of Swordsman is because there was a Swordsman back in the 1970s of Marvel Comics, but he died. And matter of fact, when he died, he was brought back to life as a Katati, a plant-like creature, but he was out in space. And so Earth no longer had a Swordsman. And so this is the new Swordsman, but we have no idea who this new Swordsman is. But apparently he was working for the Purple Man, but out of nowhere, he came in to save Songbird by stabbing Purple Man right in the chest. And so that is why when we pick up with Purple Rain getting into today's storyline, we actually do pick up with Swordsman right now trying to get Songbird somewhere safe. And the reason why I say somewhere safe is because right now you have the people of New York trying to capture both Songbird and Swordsman. And here's the thing though, you can tell right off the bat that somehow the Purple Man is able to control the minds of these people to go after Songbird and Swordsman. Now that right there is very huge to mention, and the reason why, because usually when it comes to Purple Man, he has to be near you or in some kind of range to be able to actually control your mind. And so with that being said, you have Songbird and Swordsman far away from Purple Man, but these people and police officers, they're still coming after Songbird and Swordsman. And so now the big question is, how in the world is Purple Man able to use his powers to control the minds of these people? Because right now, he's nowhere near them. Matter of fact, after Swordsman has stabbed him right in the chest and left him in the dorm room of Songbird, he's definitely nowhere near these people. But somehow he's able to control their minds. But then we get a page to basically show us that Purple Man is okay after being stabbed by Swordsman. Matter of fact, it was all faked. And so with that being said, that now leads to more questions of, is the Swordsman actually helping Songbird out, or is Swordsman still working for the Purple Man? But with Songbird and Swordsman right now running all over the city, you have news reporters kind of like, hey, this is big news right now. We need to broadcast this across the city. But then you have one reporter say, while Songbird and also Swordsman are running around the city, apparently back at the college that Songbird was at, 13 people just died randomly. And that is the moment we come to find out the Purple Man is okay, because after Songbird and Swordsman ran away, he basically got up and used a device to give 13 people a seizure, and they all died right there in that college. And so now it's kind of like, what is the goal of the Purple Man? Because here he is right now having Songbird and Swordsman running all over the city with people trying to catch them. At the same time, he just killed 13 random teenagers who are at college just minding their business. And so right now, Purple Man is doing a lot to get the attention of the Thunderbolts. Now, that is the moment you actually have the Thunderbolts appear. Now, when they do appear, of course, we do get reminded that Songbird is no longer part of the team. Because remember, she left the team after finding out that basically the team was being funded by a villain, Baron von Strucker. And that bothered her because you're a team full of villains who are trying to be good guys now. You can't be good guys if you're being funded by a bad guy. And so with that being said, she left the team. Now, the team is no longer being funded by Baron von Strucker, but either way though, you do have the team arrive and begin to question her and Swordsman on what in the world is going on. Because right now you have all these different people in the city coming after them. Now, you do have Swordsman basically tell the team, hey, listen, it is the Purple Man. He is doing this. Now, with him saying that, of course, you have our heroes kind of like, you're lying to us. Because when it comes to Purple Man, his powers only work if he's near you. If he's not near you, then his powers cannot work on you. But of course, you have Swordsman say, listen, I know that, but he did something different. He gotten stronger, and we have no idea how and why he's doing all of this for. But either way, it does lead into a battle between the Thunderbolts and Swordsman. Now, this battle does go on for a few pages, but that is the moment we actually have the Purple Man tell us things after, or not really after, but while this fight is going on. And the reason why he's doing all of this for is to break the team down, to make the team go against one another, to make this team disassembled like the Avengers are right now, but to also have the city turn their back on their new group of heroes, to basically ruin everything the Thunderbolts have made over the last couple weeks. It's his goal to get rid of this team completely. Now, you do have the Purple Man actually appear. Now, when he does appear, that begins the process of wondering how in the world is he doing all of this? How is he able to actually control all of these people's mind? Now, you do have Speed Demon say it must be his pheromones put into an airborne virus. Because remember what I said earlier, when it comes to the Purple Man, he can really only control your mind if he's nearby you so that his pheromones can actually affect you. But if he's not nearby you, then he cannot control you. And so you have Speed Demon say they must have found a way to put his pheromones in an airborne virus to affect all these different people. Now, you do have Ab Jenkins say, no, that cannot be right. Because if it was an airborne virus, it would have spread farther than it already has right now. And we were in Brooklyn. Right now, we are in Manhattan. And so it has to be something else. And that is the moment you have Ab say, that is how he's controlling all their minds. He put his pheromones in the water of Manhattan. And with people drinking water left and right, it gave the Purple Man the perfect chance to basically control all these different people all at once. His pheromones were put into the water system of Manhattan. And that right there is the reason why he's able to control all these people's mind all at once. And this is the moment of the storyline where we basically jump into another Marvel's event. And what I mean is that in our first video of the Thunderbolts were actually part of a small event called Wolverine, Enemy of the State. And that was a small storyline Marvel did in the early 2000s. Now, with that being said, though, with this storyline, we are about to jump right into the House of M event. And the reason why I say that is because you actually have the Purple Man tell Swordsman to stab Ab Jenkins. And with Ab Jenkins being stabbed, of course, you now have his whole team worried that he could possibly die. But after Swordsman has stabbed Ab Jenkins, you then have the Swordsman cut open the throat of Photon. Now remember, Photon was going by the name Captain Marvel, and his real name is Genis, and he is actually the son of the original Captain Marvel, Marvel. But either way though, with Swordsman cutting open the throat of Photon, of course, a lot of energy just pours out of him. And that is the moment reality begins to change. And of course, for the Purple Man, this was not part of his plan. He was not expecting the world to change thanks to, really, the Scarlet Witch. Let me explain what the House of M event was all about. So House of M was this big event Marvel did back in the early 2000s. Now with that being said though, House of M was this event where the Scarlet Witch went crazy because she wanted her children back. And so what did she do? She warped reality to bring her children back to life in this new world that she had made. Now, of course, with the House of M being a Marvel event, of course that means you had a lot of tie-ins. And so one of the tie-ins were the Thunderbolts. Now with that being said though, this book kind of says like, hey, it was a Scarlet Witch who did warp reality, but at the same time, it could have been Photon as well, because when Swordsman cut open his throat, a lot of random energy popped out of him, and we have no idea what kind of energy came out of him. And so with that energy, it could have led to possibly the world being warped into a new reality. But again, we know it was the Scarlet Witch instead. Now, actually, we are going to go ahead and skip over the House of M tie-in for the new Thunderbolts, because even though it was labeled Purple Rain Part 2, it honestly doesn't do anything for this storyline at all. And the reason why I say that is because with the Scarlet Witch warping reality, making a new world, she basically changed the characters we have in our story right now to be completely different people. But by the end of that chapter right there, the world was turned back into the original main Marvel universe. And so with that happening, with her bringing the world back to how it was before House of M, it kind of made part 2 pointless. And so that is why we are not going to cover the House of M tie-in for the new Thunderbolts, because it's honestly pointless for the overall storyline Purple Rain. And so when we actually do jump into the 3rd chapter of this storyline, we do kind of find out it does take place a couple days or weeks after the ending of the first storyline. But we actually do pick up with the Thunderbolts right now fighting against other powerful beings in the Manhattan area. Now with that being said though, the reason why they're here right now is because they're still trying to figure out how in the world the Purple Man was able to control all the minds of the people in Manhattan. Now again, our heroes do think that it was basically the Purple Man putting his pheromones as a way into the water supply to control the people in the city. But here comes the problem with the Purple Man. He still must be nearby you, still control you. So even if you've been drinking water that contains his pheromones, he's not nearby you to actually control you. Now you do have Photon say that he does detect some kind of rift between dimensions or some kind of rift in the air that leads into the Purple Man being able to actually give out his command. And so now you have our heroes believe that there must be somebody else under the control of the Purple Man, because that is how he's able to actually spread his commands across Manhattan. And so you didn't have Songbird tell Photon to teleport them back to their new base. And so we kind of find out that their new base is actually in the sewers. And the reason why, because their old base is an area that the Purple Man knows about. And so they have to hide somewhere else as a way to kind of figure out how they can bring down the Purple Man, but to also save the life of Ab Jenkins. Because remember, at the end of the first chapter, the dude was stabbed right in the chest. And so with him being stabbed right in the chest, of course, that means right now he needs a lot of medical attention, but they couldn't give that to him back at their old base, where the Purple Man could have possibly attacked their old base. Now, with that being said, though, you do have our heroes right now trying to figure out different ways on how to bring down the Purple Man. But on top of that, they're trying to figure out why in the world is he coming after them, but also how in the world is he able to put his pheromones in the water to get everyone affected in Manhattan? On top of that, how many powerful super beings are under his control that were based out of Manhattan? Because now he can use them against the Thunderbolts. And so right now they have so many different questions. Now, of course, that is the moment you have someone bring up Joystick, because apparently Joystick is trying to get some tech that could possibly help the team defeat the Purple Man. But the problem is, though, the place she has to steal from is not an easy place to steal from. And we kind of find out that basically the Thunderbolts has sent Joystick to steal from the Fantastic Four to get the tech they need to actually bring down the Purple Man. Now, honestly, I don't like this at all. And the reason why I don't like this, because you're basically telling me that Joystick was able to break into the home of the Fantastic Four and actually steal from them, and the Fantastic Four couldn't stop her at all. I really do not like that at all. But either way, Joystick was able to break into the home of the Fantastic Four, get the tech she needs for her team to hopefully beat the Purple Man. But like I said, the Fantastic Four are under the control of the Purple Man. But that is not the only team that's under his control, because we come to find out that also the new Avengers are also under his control. Because remember, by this point in Marvel Comics, Marvel gave us the new Avengers: Steve Rogers, Captain America, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Luke Cage, Iron Man. That team right there. They just came out and they're already working for the Purple Man because they're based out of Manhattan. And so with that being said, though, we also kind of find out how in the world the Purple Man is able to control the minds of all the different people in Manhattan. Because remember, even though his pheromones was put into the water supply and people have been drinking that water, and so of course his pheromones are inside their bodies, he still can't really control them because they're nowhere nearby him. Well, we kind of find out it's a character better known as Overmind. Overmind is a very complicated character that I'm not going to sit down and explain, because if I do, it will be another like 10-15 minute video. But either way, though, Overmind is actually a very powerful psychic. But with that being said, by this point in Marvel Comics, he was really powered down to the point the Purple Man is kind of able to force Overmind to work for him. And so that is how the Purple Man is able to control the minds of all the different people across Manhattan, thanks to Overmind being under his control. But then we actually jump back over to the Thunderbolts. And the reason why, because we actually pick up with them telling us, the readers, that with the tech that Joystick was able to steal from the Fantastic Four, they were able to find a way to make a cure to fight against the powers of the Purple Man. And that right there is very huge to say. And so right now you have our heroes getting ready to go after the Purple Man. Now, right before they actually do that, that is the moment you actually have Songbird wanting to talk to Atlas. And the reason why, because she knows what happened back in our first video of the new Thunderbolts. Because remember, in our first video of the new Thunderbolts, Atlas got very angry that Genis popped up. And when Genis popped up, he was very worried that Genis might actually steal Songbird from Ab Jenkins, because Atlas is trying to be that good best friend and hoping that he could get Songbird and Ab Jenkins together. But because Songbird also likes Genis as well, Atlas was worried that she'll go after Genis instead. And so when Genis appeared and began to help the team out, you had Atlas just freak out and begin the process of just beating down on Genis and leaving him in the middle of the ocean to die. Now we come to find out that it was the Purple Man who made Atlas do it. But on top of that, when it came to Atlas, at that point in Marvel Comics, he no longer had his powers at all. But then you have Songbird said, hey, we now know why your powers had returned. You basically stole powers from Vantage, another character that was on the original Thunderbolts team. Because you were around her, you stole her energy, which of course unlocked your powers, and that is how your powers came back. But also because the Purple Man controlled you, that is why you attacked Genis. So you need to go apologize right now. Now, honestly, this is where the story begins to wind down very quickly. And honestly, I hate the idea of this storyline because it was a very good idea. For me, it got ruined for two different reasons. One, the tie-in for the House of M event, and two, because how fast Marvel was trying to move on from the storyline. And what I mean is that you do have our heroes arrive where Purple Man was hiding at, and you do have the Purple Man try to use his powers against the Thunderbolts. But because Speed Demon and Ab Jenkins were able to make a cure to fight against the powers of the Purple Man, his powers don't work on them. And so they were able to actually defeat the new Avengers that were around the Purple Man and actually stop him. Now you do have Photon use his powers to fry the mind of the Purple Man, to kind of give him a brief moment of cosmic awareness, which is a very nice power to have. But if your mind cannot handle it, your mind will get easily fried. And so the Purple Man's mind was easily fried. And so right now, he's just a bumbling fool. And so with that, you have our heroes kind of like, okay, we won, the day is safe. But then out of nowhere, the Purple Man teleports away. And they have no idea if it was him or if someone else had teleported him away. Now, after their big battle, you do have the team basically go back to their old base, the one they had the first time, and you do have Songbird rejoining the team. But she does tell Ab Jenkins that for her to come back, there is one condition, and that one condition is that she has to be the one in charge of this team. Not Ab Jenkins, her. She has to be the new leader of that team. And so with that being said, Songbird is now the new leader of the Thunderbolts. Now, we do actually jump over to Atlas and Genis having a conversation, because you have Genis actually talking to Atlas about what happened in our first video, because it is Atlas apologizing to Genis for what happened in our first video, where he beat down on Genis because the Purple Man supposedly made him do it. But that is the moment you have Genis tell us, the readers, but also Atlas, that, hey man, listen, we both know when it comes to the Purple Man, he cannot control us because we have a certain kind of energy that cannot be controlled. And so with that being said, you actually attacked me because you wanted to attack me, not because the Purple Man. I'm going to keep this little secret for now, but I know that you actually hate me because you're afraid that Songbird is not going to go after Ab Jenkins, but instead she'll come over to me. Which of course means Atlas is very upset by that. But we still have one question left unanswered. What happened to the Purple Man? Well, we do know he was teleported away, and we come to find out he was teleported away by Zemo. Zemo is back in the picture, an old Captain America villain, and he's back in the picture once again, and he's the one that has been coming after the Thunderbolts because he's the one in charge, not the Purple Man. Now this is huge because when it comes to Zemo, and I'll explain more of his character in our next video, but when it comes to Zemo, When the Thunderbolts first came together in their original series, he was the team leader. He was the one that formed the team, but he made the world believe that him and his team of villains were trying to be good guys now. But here comes the thing though, it was all a lie. But now he's back in the picture coming after the new Thunderbolts. And right now he's holding 2 Infinity Stones, it looks like. And so now the question is, what can the Thunderbolts do? And matter of fact, at the end of the book, it says, what can the Avengers and the Thunderbolts do to stop Zemo? Meaning that the next storyline could have the Avengers in there. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.